All right. Good evening. It's May 1st, 2023. We're here at the Town Commissioners meeting. And so we will go ahead and start. We'll start with our call to order. So here we have Commissioner Eck, Commissioner Radigan. How do you say that? Proxima. We have Commissioner Proxima and Wade Yost, Town Manager, and Ed Reed. Jeff, would you start us with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So we're going to move right into our agenda, and we'll start off with announcements. We'll just work our way from Jeff all the way down.
I do have a couple of announcements I seem to have misplaced.
Want me to come back to you?
Oh, no, I got it right here.
All right.
So I attended the Fair Access Committee meeting with the Montgomery County Public Schools. And that was a very useful and helpful, informative meeting. And I did read later, I was just mentioning it, that I read on WTOP this morning that the Montgomery, I wrote down here somewhere, Montgomery County Public Schools reached a tentative agreement with the Montgomery County Education Association, so I guess that's a teacher's union. So that's good for the next 2 years. Also wanted to mention that the fire station is providing CPR and AED training for the camp counselors, and we're also doing first aid training for the camp managers. This is Jewish American Heritage Month. Last month? President Biden proclaimed May as Jewish American Heritage Month, celebrating the enduring heritage of Jewish Americans whose values, culture, and contributions have helped to shape our character as a nation. And I also wanted to mention, this is interesting, Cinco de Mayo, so obviously that's a celebration. And it celebrates an important date in history, May the 5th. In 1862, the Battle of Puebla pitted elite French forces against a vastly undermanned Mexican army, so that shaped our history as well. That's that part. The Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce is having an after hours on Wednesday, May the 17th at the Manor Country Club in Rockville. That's from 5:30 until 7. I have something else here. I guess that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Mark?
I don't have any announcements tonight.
All right. Sarah?
I don't have any announcements tonight.
All right. Well, then I don't have any announcements either, so we will move right in. Martin, you want to talk to us about Planning Commission?
Yeah, so I've given you the update from the last meeting that we had at our last commissioner meeting. We're going to meet again a week from Wednesday, so I'll have more information for you when we next see each other. We did have a work session last Wednesday, and we just basically, it was all comprehensive plan, and we've set dates for 2 additional work sessions to try to get caught up on this. Not that we're really behind, but just try to get a handle on it and get things moving. So I will have more information for you when next we meet.
All right, fantastic. Sarah?
Yeah. I feel like there's not a lot of really big things to report, but Link is working in conjunction with the rest of the members of the Fair Access Committee on a statement that kind of clarifies our stance on the MCPS budget proposal, and that really supports our school clusters and especially our principals and the staffing needs that they need. And so we're working on that. We are still working on securing funding for the community center and the clinic in the high school. Recently, Link caught up with some folks at the county council meeting. They were talking about White's Ferry, and when we asked Mark where things were, Mark said, "Let me ask Chris Conklin," and kind of gave the impression that he wasn't as actively engaged as we would hope he would still be. And it is making us really rethink what other avenues we could be pursuing, and so we are sort of generating some new ideas and hope to have more to report on that in the future. We also, I'm going to end it there. Yep, that's it.
Fantastic. All right, Jeff?
Can I ask a question about,
Yeah.
about your report?
Yeah.
So when you guys form a position on the Montgomery County Public School, like budget proposal and all that stuff,
Right.
is that something you're gonna bring to us to discuss and vote on?
I think that's a great question. My understanding is that if something is in alignment with our existing mission, in the same way that we, send letters to different council members on issues that continue to advocate for the things that are already part of our mission, which is advocating for the schools and our clusters. I wasn't necessarily planning on it, but we absolutely can if that's something that we'd
No,
like to see first.
there's no point in bringing it to us if it's something we're already doing, but if we're taking, maybe I'm not understanding correctly, if we're taking a position on taxes or something like that, then that's something. I
Yeah,
think-
and that's what
okay.
we're being very
Okay.
careful about.
Right,
We
because,
are trying to clarify that we are in support of the
That's-
needs of our school cluster.
yeah, no, that's fine then. I was just thinking you were gonna like, you were
And
angling
we
for
hope
like,
that they
do
take
it or
seriously our
don't do
concerns
it.
about,
Yeah, no
the
worries.
ways in which they're funding it.
yep,
And,
great, no
so-
worries then. I
Yeah.
don't think that needs to come here, but if we're doing something different, then that's something I feel like we should
Absolutely.
discuss, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, actually, and what we're doing, we're staying in our lane,
yes,
right? We're gonna stay in our lane in the position that we've been put in terms of when they came to talk to us about fair access, it's the school system. It's wanting to share, because we go to them with a lot of different requests in our advocacy, but as partners, want to be able to listen to them. I believe they respect that advocacy impact that fair access has, and perhaps they didn't officially say they were asking for support, but it's a case if we wanted to give support, we would have that information to talk about. And so, yeah, I think there's a well-prepared response that this is what fair access does. All right.
and absolutely, I will email it and circulate it to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be
Yeah.
shared.
But just to be clear, I don't think we need to discuss or vote on anything.
Sure.
No.
Unless it's so yeah, okay, good
Yep.
deal, thank you.
Jeff, you want to go? Then I'll go right.
Yes. So we actually did not have a Parks Board meeting in April, and our agenda for the May 3rd Parks Board meeting includes field dedication policy discussion and the Bricken Property Park recommendation, and also scheduling a walking tour for the Parks Board members. But there is one thing that, and I really totally credit Niles for this. Just wanted to give the results of the speed study, because it is interesting, that was done along West Willard near Westerly Grove. And, so at the March, the commission's request a speed study of the traffic area by the Bricken property on West Willard, so that's across the street from Westerly Grove, actually. And the study provided an overview of the current traffic conditions, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, I won't read every word. The result was the average speed in West Willard was 32.1 miles an hour, with 85% of the trips below 40 miles per hour, and 47% between 30 and 40 miles per hour. And it says, if the plan for the Bricken property is approved, I guess that's to be decided, the traffic condition in this area will change. The area will become more residential, leading to higher traffic volumes and more local traffic. Staff will lower the speed limit from 35 to 25 miles per hour as required by the code for the whole stretch of West Willard from Westerly Avenue to the town limits past Bodmer Avenue, and add additional speed limit signs. This change is in addition to the four-way stop at Bodmer Avenue and West Willard. And so that was, and then Niles also provided a very thorough chart. So he did a great job, and that's it. So, sometimes I think we have a perception that the traffic is going like a zillion miles an hour, and then when you do the scientific study, it turns out, to be different than our perception very often. So anyway, thanks for that, Niles and Wade.
Jeff, question for you on that. In those results, that data, do they have it broken down by time frames also? 'Cause I wonder if there's certain times during the day or in the evening where you
It
have
does
higher
actually, yeah.
speeds.
I can send this to you.
Yeah.
So it goes all the way from, I think that's 1 a.m. all the way until, so this is 1 a.m., I guess it would be, or
Does it
00
go all the way 1 a.m. to-
midnight, and then 2300 is
Okay.
11. Yeah, so it does. And of course,
Because I would be curious to look at, are there certain time frames where you have higher speeds versus because if you do an average, you could have high speeds, low speeds, and get average speed.
Yeah, no, this chart here, the one that indicates the time of the day, actually shows volume, not speed. So it probably is in here, but I just don't
Okay.
know how to.
Yeah, that'd be good if
interpret.
everybody could get a copy of that.
Yeah, absolutely, sure, sure.
Yeah, I
so-
think we're studying more than just speed. We're studying like volume and like, you know,
whole
'cause
thing.
basically what we need to do to the road to prepare if we're gonna, you know, if and when Bricken gets approved, right?
And and it's not looking at traffic coming from the other direction.
Now that I'm
Right.
not sure. This said,
Is that
Really,
correct, Wade?
it wasn't in an optimal place. It was placed near Westerly Grove, up towards the top of the hill, and really down by Westerly Avenue, capturing traffic coming into town. That
Yeah.
field would have been a much better place, but the county couldn't find a good place there for the,
Okay.
Are you done with your report or no?
I am, yeah, thank you.
Can I just want to ask a question, and I'm apparently the squeaky wheel tonight. But I was reading the agenda, and I saw a list of proposed park names.
Oh, yes, yes.
And just for whatever it's worth, I'll say it again, I've said it before, but like, I feel like we have very, very few parks named after women in this town, and I didn't see very many women on that list, and I really think that like, the park should be a fair representation of what Poolsville is made up of.
Yes.
And it's hard for me to believe that we can't find any women in the town that have, you know, done things of, you know, great accomplishment, so,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
yeah, it's just an observation.
Oh, yeah, so this is William Taylor, James, yeah, you're right, they're all guys.
I think there's one more, right?
Cal, is that Cal? Oh, Gail. Gail,
I mean, it could be, that could be a,
yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Can I just ask how that list is generated? Are those names proposed by people who are on the Parks Board, or is that like
no.
a public solicitation?
Well, I might need Wade to help me with that, because I don't actually know the answer.
they come from many different places, but there's policy in place that kind of outlines that 10 years of service for the community. So there's plenty of women that would fit that. and
Yeah.
Sports
Yeah.
coaches to whoever. I mean, there's
I'm saying, has
tons of-
there been like a like
Usually-
public
usually-
announcement that we're looking for a name,
No,
and
usually
you
the
can submit a
developer,
name,
like
or?
the developer usually comes forward and he has his ideas
Ah,
and
okay.
offers up suggestions. Sometimes people from the community will put something in and say, hey, you consider this one, and if they
Okay.
serve on a board or commission, they're automatically part of the list, and that's where a lot of those names come from. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Would it be against policy or going against the grain to like open up like have a suggestion period where, you know, the Parks Board could look at them and take them or leave them? But you
Not at
know,
all. That's probably a good idea.
yeah, because you know if you ask me off the top of my head, well, okay, Martin, you say there's a lot of women. Who are they? Like I'd have to, you know, it would take me some time to think
I
about it.
did
So
this last time you said this, and I came up with several. I thought was
Well,
I've
I'd
got
love
a
to-
couple
yeah.
off the top of my
Yeah.
head, actually.
yeah, so if we can maybe put out to the public
Yeah.
to put some like, you know, maybe Niles could put a web page up or like a landing page. I'm really good at creating work for people, but you know.
So on that note, Jeff, come back to you. Does it have to happen at that meeting, or is there some time to revisit the names that have been submitted, or some time to have additional submissions? Right.
Oh, I should turn on a button. There are some requirements, and I'll send this to everybody so you can see what the requirements are. And then you're happy to, you know, if you'd like to add something or change something. So, and this is for a policy for naming of streets, parks, and fields. And it says, an individual who has at least 10 years of service with the town in an elected or appointed capacity and is not currently in office or serving on a board. An individual who has made significant contributions to the town or community. A name with local historical significance. A name of flora or fauna indigenous to the area. So those are,
That's
this certainly
existing
doesn't
policy.
exclude,
Fortunately, you don't have to check all those boxes.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
And I hear John in the audience about a school teacher,
really interesting.
and if I just throw a name out, unless there's something already named after, what's the lady who's always, when we do the Christmas time, she's a well-loved,
Oh,
Great
yeah, Great
Shepherd.
Shepherd, absolutely.
and is there anything here named after her? Now, I know I'm not trying to get
Not
out
that
of
I
my
know of.
lane, but I'm just being
No, I
helpful.
know
so
Grace, absolutely. I
Yeah.
just met her at CVS, yeah.
She would be, so perhaps consideration of a person like that, would she meet that criteria? And I'm not trying to tell that board what to do, but just to help spur the conversation, using her as an example.
I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget it.
All right.
Thank you, Ed.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Martin, and thank, everybody, because it's important.
I did like to see the name that I think it was Skip Etheridge recommended at the top of the list, who I think has a significant contribution, African-American guy.
Oh, yeah.
Who's got historical,
Yep.
I mean, I think that's great, because again, like, it should represent the town and, but yeah, so.
Okay. Jeff, you have anything else?
That was it. Thank you, Ed.
All right, then I'll go ahead and do the Sustainable Poolsville. And so what we talked about, composting, and so we're still going to look into that. The bulk of our discussion was looking at the comprehensive plan and partnering up with that planning commission. A lot of positive things came out of the discussion. I know Joyce and Danny and those guys have been going over to participate. And so I think that it's really not trying to take over, but just really being able to say, hey, let's look at how do we look at things through that sustainable lens, and then continue that good working partnership to even a consideration where there's a section that focuses on sustainability. So, but that's what we talked about for the most part. The Pick It Up Poolsville project is still moving right along. They had another one. And we'll see if we can get a copy of the pictures of the different pickup around the town. And so what's going to happen at Springfest, there's a little notebook that Erica Reed has put together, because she oversees that committee. And so they've been out there getting the volunteers, picking up, and that's been a real good movement.
Scrapbook.
So, yeah, there's a little scrapbook of pictures they're going to have when they set up for Springfest. They'll be looking for more people to volunteer, and there'll be a QR code for people in the community who want to help. So, yeah. All right. Do we have anybody for public comment? Wait, we have anyone for public comment? Okay. And no one's on Zoom, right? All right. So we need a motion for approval of the minutes from our April 17th meeting.
I motion to approve the minutes from April 17th, 2023.
All right. Is there, Jeff?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right. So we have 4-0. Motion passes 4-0. All right. Old business. Let's talk about the adoption of ordinance 225, the fiscal year 2024 budget and tax rate. And where you want to walk us through?
Sure. This is our last phase in the process as far as just adopting the budget and tax rate. 18 cents per $100 of assessment is what the tax rate remains. It's been for several years. And no water increases with this budget, and we've met all the projects and funded everything fully, so it's a good, solid budget. No extra cost to the taxpayers. So this is the last phase. We can pass the budget and move on.
Question. And we have a requirement, if I remember, that there's a certain percentage that we need to keep in the bucket that's not already designated for something?
Yes.
Did we meet that?
So the rainy day fund is 17.5% of the revenue. Yes, we do that.
Okay, so,
And we've gone through our public hearings and all the processes that we've had to
yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if we ever don't meet that, that will be a big discussion and a big thing, like that's like, that would set off alarm bells, and
It
we'd
should,
have to,
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
so we'll know.
Any other questions for Wade? Any other questions about the budget?
No, how about a motion?
How about it?
All right. I make a motion, we approve FY 2024 proposed budget ordinance number 225, FY 24 budget.
Okay, we have
As written.
we have a motion by Martin. Sarah, you raising your hand to
Second.
do a second? Okay, any discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have 4-0. All right.
On the call, does he want to be on the
Jim-
record?
Okay.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
just for anyone watching at home, like, I know I can, I won't speak for Jim, but I know that he's been in favor of this budget and he's on board with
Been a
it,
part
so.
of the process.
yeah,
yeah.
he's been a
Yeah.
part of the process. And unfortunately, he wasn't able, Jim was hoping to join us this evening by Zoom, but unfortunately wasn't able for whatever reason. All right. And so the motion is passed. We adopted the ordinance 225 fiscal year, 2024 budget and tax rate. All right, there's no new business, town manager's report?
Spring Fest is this Saturday between 2 and 7 here on Wayland Commons. Looks like it's going to be a great day. You all received your invites from Kathy, I guess, right? She says she already has quite a few pre-registered tickets sold, so. You got ready. Yeah, that's right. So May 13th, from 12 to 2 p.m. is a youth fishing tournament this year, Eden Park. That's going to be a fun one. I've been working with John and some of the speed engineers and Niles, developing a speed pedestrian safety plan. We kind of talked about this at the last meeting. And we've come up with several good ideas that we're looking at. One is, is to have these two on the two crosswalks right here in front. So what it is collapsible, sit in the center lane. That way traffic, farm equipment thinks it's going to get by, because it's double wide lanes on each side, so it shouldn't impede that. And it can be removed for like pools a day or whatever, so that the floats and everything can go over it. So. Yeah, it's collapsible. Yeah, so the car does hit it. Oh, no, it'll be up all the time. So this is one of the things we talked about, having kind of trying to narrow down, having the impact of narrowing the lanes down a little bit, bring more attention to the crosswalks. So that was fun.
Miraculous ideas for, as what Martin calls Death Alley.
We
The official name is the Notch of Death. I think so. I think
We
it was,
voted on that.
I
Don't
think
you
it was
remember?
Chuck Stump that coined that phrase, and I like that, the Notch of Death.
So for up there, in between the buildings where people are crossing right there, we have a warning, no pedestrian crossings. It is a perfect area. We talked to the homeowner up there, Jeff Welsh, and talked about putting a fence up between the two buildings. Unfortunately, he puts his trash out there. It would impede everything he does. His kids get on the school bus off and on right there.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
disrespect out of him, so we'll go ahead and post no post there. We're still working on what we're gonna do in front of the old town hall as far as part of that streetscape. And
that's
so
tricky.
that's very tricky right there.
Yeah.
So if anything, we can push people down, help just keep pushing them down farther and farther, and eventually people will use the crosswalk. But then once, construction starts here, and we get some of this, I've reached out to Clifford as far as, Mr. Willard about maybe getting some access to this, so we could put a pathway in. on the
I was
other
gonna say,
side.
let's just
So,
prioritize the
We've had a few
trail.
discussions about it.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that, like, maybe even the one across the field, if they'd be willing, I don't know, like, but that would be huge. Yeah.
I was trying to secure the right of ways for that, in
Yeah.
advance, so they're not there yet, but, we're working on that.
So Wade, another speed area, I've had several residents ask me about the crosswalk on, I guess it would be Elgin, right where the Methodist church is.
Okay.
That comes over to Elizabeth
I
Blake.
know exactly what you're talking about.
There's a sharp turn right before you get to that crosswalk, and so you have people coming from out of town going in very high speeds. I live in that neighborhood, cross there, my kids catch the bus there. I've had people speed right past us all the time. Can you tell me what are our options? My understanding
So-
is we don't own that.
I know, that's the sticky
Street,
part
right.
there. We could request extra signage from state, you won't get a flashing light, you won't get any of that.
We won't get a
from them because
flashing light.
They're not approved by Maryland State Highway. They're so limited in what they allow.
You couldn't do
Every other state
something
does.
like you're proposing for down here with something in the middle of the lanes that's kind of like a,
They won't allow us to put it in, we could put it in and then
they'd take it out.
ask for, well, they may ignore it. I mean, Don't ask, don't tell,
You give me an idea, and I'm gonna look at Link also when we think about this lobbying piece, and we think about the taking on some pedestrian safety, because for the roads that we don't own, because as I'm listening to you, Sarah, I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about right when you first get into town, over near the Catholic Church, a little bit further up, there's a crosswalk, but people are flying because the speed camera's not right there.
Yeah, not till
So-
after.
Right, so it's after where people flying, sometimes there are people just standing at the crosswalk where everybody else is zipping through. And I
Yeah.
think about
hard to get across.
some of the kids who walk over from the neighborhood over there and they
To
go
the
over,
middle school.
they go to the middle school.
Yeah.
So that's a
And
dangerous
to your
area.
point, we just had, we had a conversation with State Highway. Again, they came out and did a study. We requested a pedestrian safety island in the center of that. They studied it and they said that exactly what they say, none of those people would have been struck from that intersection, warrant the intersection device.
It's just
That's
terrible
exactly what
that
the
that's
letter
their
said.
metric. We're gonna wait until someone gets
I
hit?
mean, that's just ridiculous. It really is.
Well, I think perhaps we,
Who wants to take one for the team?
yeah, all right.
But everybody look at me.
I make a motion.
Well, we'll do it at low speed, so it'll be minimal impact. We can start.
I mean,
That's disappointing.
but one for all, right? Everyone has to take their
That's
hit.
right. Everyone take your hit.
But maybe Link, when we think about this push for pedestrian safety and working with our D15 group,
Yeah.
to get involved.
And to that point, a lot of times it's really what they use on Georgia Avenue, the state does, and their roads down there versus what you use in another community like this that's much more rural. They're the same. They're the same, stats and everything they use, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, they're using, that's something we can talk about our next Fair Access Committee, how they're using the same metrics for, yeah?
This is something, and I was just thinking
We'll
about
start a
Lily.
list for her. There might be a couple things on that list. Transportation. Yeah,
Is an easy win for her, for Evan Glass.
yeah, there you go.
And then Lily.
Okay.
Okay,
And
so,
we'll take that up at our
right.
next Fair Access Committee.
We'll warm them up and create some momentum for the ferry. All right, Wade, anything else?
As if,
But Poolsville does own Haller Avenue,
correct.
and that's like exactly across from the church where the bus stops, the kids get on the bus and whatnot. So, and maybe we should bring this up at the Parks Board meeting. Is it possible to put a light on Haller Avenue with a button that blinks or something when the kids are catching the bus in the morning?
So
Or
the
in the,
So the state owns 20 foot out of the, Jim, get in here now.
Sorry, we're done.
I waited to the very end to tell you that.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, finally.
Finally, hold on. Okay,
Lord.
so the state has a state right-of-way that is 20 foot from the center line, there, so you have to be back behind that. And most likely that's where somebody's yard is.
oh, it is, yeah.
There's always a challenge with that, but it's a good idea, then we should just keep tossing ideas around and work
Yeah.
with state highway. See what we can do. But back to, you had a question.
I was just going to ask you for all this pedestrian safety stuff. Thank you for what you and Niles are doing. That's great. But have you all also engaged like any kind of a professional firm that like looks at this stuff, that does it for a living, or?
That's what we, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to finish my.
Oh, sorry. Okay, didn't mean to
So,
steal
yeah,
your thunder.
So we have, so the company that Jim has suggested, he gave me the names, and we looked them up and have conversations with them. So what we're looking at, is also the speed radar indicator signs. And they can be pulled out of their solar. One place that's gonna be able to capture, as soon as people come over the hill, probably correct them all in general. And it's gonna get the speed, as it's gonna be trying to create a whole corridor here for speed and pedestrian safety. And then one, after you make the curve, when you're coming up past, AHOP, pointing down that direction. We stood out there today, and you can see as soon as they hit that corner, they're hitting it again, so trying to slow them down. It is gonna have a regular speed on it. We're gonna have a couple more speed signs, and it's gonna say photo enforced also. And then, so that's been a lot of attention to it. Now, these units are really needed that they collect data. So we can plug the OSB into the back of it and download, high speed, low speed, average speeds, time of day, count car counts, it's the whole 9 yards. So that's gonna give you some great information for us to do. So we state highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do try to get the police up here to, do radar enforcement, but that's farther and farther in. you have to be coming into a zone where a school is now by state law.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, they changed
Bus
it.
stops don't count.
Nope.
Churches.
Okay.
Okay, anything else there?
I want to give a kudos to Preston and his team who responded during that tornado. Very quickly, they were out there pulling up trees, clearing the roadways, and then they had to work 2 or 3 days this week just to help finish, people clean up, they did a special collection, so, great job on their part.
Sure, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great work.
While you're giving kudos, I did see a Titus truck going through the neighborhood this morning. I don't know what they were doing, but it was nice to see that truck going through this morning.
Yeah, I would imagine they're setting up routes.
So, yeah, it was a pleasure to see this. Bright and early, about 7:30 this morning.
That's all I have. Any questions?
I have a question. When does registration open for summer camps, Coolsville summer camp?
I will have to get back to you on that. I do not know off the top of my head.
Okay. I'm having people ask me about it. When I look it up, it still says 2022, so.
I think she's still in the process of making sure she has enough camp counselors.
Okay.
Hiring them to get everybody in, so I'll get back to you on that one.
Yep, thank you. Jim, I know we didn't catch you earlier. Do you have any announcements, anything you wanted to say? Because we're at that adjournment part of the meeting. So anything you wanted to chime in on?
No, not at this point. I appreciate you asking, though. It's all good.
All right, no problem.
Did you guys do a co-op update?
No, we're waiting on you. Go for it.
We did receive the co-op market analysis today, and I didn't really have a chance to dive into it, but I know our little informal committee has received it. I will circulate it to the commissioners later on tonight. Good information on it, probably enough information to tell us to move forward with the next step, which would be with another consultant, of course. But that's something that we can all talk about once you guys get it in hand. And I also think that once we have a chance to digest it, we can put it out to the public too and let them look at it.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, Jim,
Yep.
we were mentioning this briefly as we were getting started tonight, but because Lovettsville just announced their grand opening, there's been a lot of chatter on Facebook with residents saying, oh, hey, why aren't we doing something like this? So this would be a fantastic time for you to just say, hey, we are looking at this, here's the latest development on it, you know.
Yeah, go for it. If anybody here on the commissioners wants to put something out there, fine. If not, then we can put something out there. I just want to make sure that we have a link for that report so that people can see it and digest it. It really is some real, it's metric driven, but the end result is, if anybody's still listening out there, that it's they definitely think that we have room to create a co-op. So we probably have to go to the next level, and that's to sit with a consultant, pay another person, and have them talk about the structure and how this and how what would be the next steps for a co-op that would be personalized for this area, because it's kind of like the wild west. You can do whatever you need to do in terms of getting it out there to create a membership and have the town be as involved as possible. I mean, buy-in is going to be everything.
Yep, 100%.
Thank you, Jim. All right, well, if there's
Yep.
nothing else left to discuss, we could get a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second? All right, so it's been motioned first by Martin, second by Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so it's 5-0, and we'll see you on May 15th. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep, see ya.
All right.
Yep.